Hello, my amazing tribe. I'm excited to connect with you through this video. Hello, fellow enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of River Usk. The River Usk rises on the northern slopes of the Black Mountain Mynydd, Wales, in the westernmost part of the Brecon Beacons National Park. Initially forming the boundary between Carmarthenshire and Powys, it flows north into Usk Reservoir, then east by Sennybridge to Brecon before turning southeast to flow by Talybont-on-Usk, Crickhowell and Abergavenny, after which it takes a more southerly course. Beyond the eponymous town of Usk, it passes the Roman legionary fortress of Caerleon to flow through the heart of the city of Newport and into the Severn Estuary at Uskmouth beyond Newport near the Newport Wetlands. The river is about 125 kilometers long. The Monmouthshire and Brecon Canal follows the Usk for most of the length of the canal. As we venture forward, let's examine etymology in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. The name of the river derives from a common Brittonic word meaning abounding in fish or possibly water. This root also appears in other British river names such as Ids, Axe, Esk and other variants. The name is cognate with pisc, plural of piscid, the Welsh word for fish, borrowed from Latin pisces. The name of the river appears as Usk on the Cambry typus map of 1573. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting ecology and exploring its intricate connections to our topic. The whole river has been designated a site of special scientific interest. It contains estuary with mudflats and salt marsh, lagoons, bog and marsh, varied grassland and woodland habitats along its course. Its flora and fauna are diverse and include Atlantic salmon, European otters, twait shad, lamprey, European perch, brown trout, chub, common dace and common roach, as well as kingfishers, grey herons and other wolf-fowl and bird life. Dippers can be seen upriver along with red kites in the river's valley upstream from around the town of Usk. The Usk has long been a noted salmon and trout fishing river. Salmon of over 30 pounds may still be caught. In 1999, the river had the highest estimated salmon egg deposition of any river south of Cumbria, and the list of rivers of Scotland. The river has recently been rated as the best fly fishing water in Wales for salmon and inside the UK top 10. The normal tidal limit of the river is just below the bridge at Newbridge on Usk, some north of Newport. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of bridge crossings and discovering its transformative power. There are multiple bridge crossings of the river, variously for vehicles, pedestrians and rail traffic. A number are of historic interest, notably a series of largely 18th and 19th century listed structures between Abergavenny and Newport. The highest crossing is that of Pont-ar, which translates from Welsh as bridge on the Usk, which carries the moorland road west from Crickhowell to Twynlyn. There are a further couple of minor road crossings below the Usk Reservoir dam around Chmys. Then Pont-Newydd translates as New Bridge immediately south of Crickhowell. In the vicinity of Sennybridge are Pont Pantysalig, Pont Mynydd wide for Pont Senny, after which the village is named, and Pont Llwyn-Sintafin. Pont Wycommon is of interest insofar as a former railway bridge carried the Neath and Brecon Railway at a high level diagonally over the road bridge itself. 3 historic bridges span the river in quick succession: a pedestrian suspension bridge at Abergavenny and stone arch bridges at Abergavenny and Penpent, both grade 2 listed, with Abergavenny Bridge another 1.5 mi downstream. Miles downstream is Lock Bridge, which carries the over the river, and immediately downstream again is the substantial Brynic Aqueduct bringing the Monmouthshire and Brecon Canal over the river at Llanfrinch. There was another pair of bridges at Llansanfraid, but since the dismantling of the railway bridge, only the road bridge linking to Talybont-on-Usk remains. A couple of private footbridges span the next section of the river before its waters pass beneath the historic Grade I listed Legionary Bridge. Tower Bridge is a Grade 2 listed structure providing private vehicular access into Usk Park, the river then remaining unbridged downstream until the historic Grade I listed Crickhowell Bridge. At Llanwyney is a Bailey Bridge installed after the earlier stone bridge was washed away. Though there was once a ferry crossing of the river near Llanwenneth, the Abergavenny Bridge is the longest of these. Now, let's shift our focus to former mills and embark on an intellectual exploration of its various dimensions. There are a number of former watermills along the banks of the river, the majority of which were engaged in milling corn for flour production. The uppermost mill on the Usk was that at Powys, a corn mill of medieval origin at Ordnance Survey Grid reference SN 849,285. Watergate Mill at Brecon SO 435,285 was another corn mill making use of water from the Usk, though post-medieval in date. A couple of miles downstream was Millbrook Mill at Llanhamlich SO 84,268. This drew water via a long leat from a long weir spanning the width of the river. Artlin Old Mill, upstream of Legionary at SO 134,201 is thought to have been another post-medieval corn mill. Three further mills sit close to the banks of the Usk between here and Crickhowell, though all draw their water from tributaries rather than the main river. A Rahoy Mill takes water from the Nant Clesfa. Knight's Corn Mill at Trettower takes water via a long leat from the Hindgoal, and Usk Valley Mill at Glangwine draws its water from the Gawine Fore. The first two are post-medieval corn mills, the latter a 19th century paper mill which later converted to become a sawdust mill. Forge Mill north of Betow's Mynydd at SO 355,974 was still in use at the end of the 19th century, using a long weir stretching between islands on the river to draw its water. Goret's Mill at Trostry sits on the Usk's left bank at SO 359,040. The possible 16th century Prius Mill SO 367,022 at Raider just north of the town of Usk was another which, whilst close to the Usk, drew its water from a tributary, in this case the Berthin Brook. In addition to these there is an enigmatic leat beside the uppermost section of the river's course which is presumed to have drawn water off it at SN 816,263 and transferred it via a contouring route across the moors for Overtook. Its northern end is lost within 20th century forestry south of Usk Reservoir. Archaeologists have postulated it as being of either medieval or even Roman origin but do not know its purpose. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma in history and legend and discovering its transformative power. The River Usk has played an important role in the history of Wales and features in some local folk tales. Historically, the tidal reaches of the Usk have been used as a major shipping port for much of the last millennium, mostly because of its wide and deep mouth, and good navigable access from the Severn Estuary and the Bristol Channel, and thence access to home waters and further overseas. Evidence of the Usk's long-standing use in transport and trade came in the form of the remains of the Newport ship that were discovered in 2002. This ship, dated to around 1465, was most likely a trading vessel and may have sailed around Europe or even beyond in its lifetime. Its presence in the Usk has confirmed what an important trading route the Usk must have been to the many towns and villages along its course. The Usk has also played a role in many local legends. The medieval Latin text De Ortu Wowini recounts a humorous tale in which an incognito Gawain pushes his uncle King Arthur into the Usk, and is then forced to explain to his wife Gwendolyn Guinevere why he is so wet. Geoffrey of Monmouth writes of Caerleon in the mid-12th century. It is not until the 13th century French prose romances that Camelot began to supersede Caerleon, and even then, many descriptive details applied to Camelot derived from Geoffrey's earlier grand depiction of the Welsh town. The Usk Valley contains many sites of prehistorical archaeological significance, and the valley has long been a trade route, settlement area and an avenue into Wales for successive invaders such as the Romans and Normans. Remember to follow me on social media for behind-the-scenes content and updates.